What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Lucid, I want to go over some of the current data points, what shorts are doing, and why shorts been really doubling down over this last little bit. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So the market's been open roughly 30 minutes, give or take. It is up 1.25%. So it is showing some signs that it does want to break out. A lot of volatility though, so 360 the low, 367 the high. That'll make a little bit more sense once I go over the technicals, but the data point that came out today is really kind of moving the market a little bit, and as well the interest rate cut potentially, so I'll go over that in a second as well. But Chicago PMI 46.6, forecast 46.1. A little bit better than anticipated. That's more of a precursor for tomorrow's data, which is ISM manufacturing, which right now the forecast is 47.2. In both cases though, in theory, anything below 50 shows more of a contraction occurring in the broader market. So like I said, that is kind of affecting this right here. So right now for the November 7th meeting, there is a 37.1% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut. So that's gone down quite a lot from that 53, or I think it even had a 57 high yesterday. Or last time I looked at it. So that's gone down quite a lot. And because of that, you're seeing a lot of EVs pull down. So Rivian down, Polestar down, Tesla's up, Lucid's doing fairly well as well. So yeah, that's one thing that's really affecting just the EV sector slightly. When it comes to Lucid, no actual news itself, no SEC filings, nothing along those lines. So kind of just piggybacking off of the broader market's optimism of sorts. Shorts though right now are increasing 710,000 shares. When I was preparing for this video and once the market pretty much opened, shorts were really hitting hard right out the gate, increasing 1.8. So of course that they've returned a little bit since then, but 30.14% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 270.15 million shares. So like I said at the very beginning, shorts just have a vendetta against Lucid because over this last 2 weeks, you can kind of see what they've been doing. They've been really doubling down quite a lot, as though they're acting on some non-public information. And over this last 2 weeks, during this same time period, a lot of heavily shorted stocks were getting returned, right? And there was a lot of good data coming out to validate that. But in Lucid's case, they've been very abnormal. So this is why I wanted to share this next thing with you. Only because, again, there's no other real explanation why shorts have been really doubling the hell down with Lucid. And it is this. Keep in mind, a little bit more of a bearish undertone with his kind of whole thing right here. But Will Fan, based on this, 180 followers, 124 following. This is kind of some of the pictures, so it matches, shows that he had a somewhat private viewing, if that kind of makes sense. But in his explanation, he goes over how much they spent on, it looks like just design, which he kind of says whopping, so meaning more of a, again, bearish undertone. But he does state two things in here that I wanted to bring up: that pre-orders and delivery begin next year, and it says just to start under 100,000. So both of those pieces of news are kind of opposite to what Peter has been saying the last 6 or 7 times during podcasts, interviews, and everything. So essentially, maybe this is what shorts are acting. And I know when shorts have been doubling down, I kind of just say jokingly, like maybe they're aware that the gravity is getting pushed back or something like that. But kind of weird the fact that this comes out. It does make sense a little bit. The fact that we haven't really heard too much as far as pre-orders, like reservations, when that's opening. But still, take this with a grain of salt because, like I said, this guy has 180 followers, so it might mean nothing, might mean something, but it still begs the question, why the hell are shorts really increasing? It is as though they're acting on non-public information such as this. So what's your guys' thoughts? Do you think the gravity is going to get pushed back to next year? And this is also new information because we were under the impression it'd be around the $80,000 range, not under 100,000. Well, I guess he's not lying. Under 100 could be anything, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Moving over to options, a lot of money is getting into Lucid through options. 109,000 in calls, 29,000 in puts. 57% of all the options being done so far today are bearish. And based on the call options that are purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be around that $4 range or in excess of $4. And then looking at puts, you see an anticipation for it to be sub $3. So clearly opposite spectrums right now. And so I think right now the market's just trying to wait for data, and as well, a lot of EVs will be unveiling their earnings, or I guess the date of their earnings and their production and delivery numbers over the next 2 weeks. So we should find out some more information about that. But right now you're not seeing that level of buying the dip from entities today. So right now, only one transaction occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. It was for $720,000, and regrettably, it was a sell. You could tell that based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price. So big money's not really paying attention to Lucid right now. So majority of the volume is truly linked to shorting today. So not necessarily the best kind of scenario, but today is the last day in Q3. So as a kind of byproduct of that, you should see a lot of volume near the second half of the day. So kind of just monitor that accordingly. But right now with it at $3.62, it is trading between this pivot and this R1. So 358 will be the strong support that you'll want to watch for it to hold. Flip side, $3.70 will be the next strong resistance / target. No matter what though, even if Lucid does pull back, really desperately need to watch for it to stay above that 50-day moving average. So that's going to be absolutely key, and probably at the same time, that's one thing that shorts are really trying to do as well. They're trying to break Lucid on a technical level. So just watch for that 50-day moving average. So that is around that $3.53. Aside from that stochastic, you do see a nice bullish deviation, so white line above the red, but it is still very oversold. So if Lucid was to put out a good piece of news, you could see a rush of value investors, and then number of retail investors are surprisingly getting out. And so it is kind of over the majority the last 2 weeks, it has been below zero. So that does mean that Lucid is losing more investors, number of investors, than what is coming in. So meaning retail, of course. So retail isn't, I don't know, what's your guys' thoughts? Are you guys more worried about Lucid breaking down on a technical level? Are you guys worried about the gravity being pushed back? Or are you just more worried on a macro standpoint? Because there's a lot of different things happening across the globe, especially in the Middle East over this last weekend. There's a lot of things happening all at once, it seems like, and all that has some play on the market. So what's your guys' thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And make sure you guys take advantage of this. This is the last day that you can take advantage, or it's valid until. It does give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.